Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Fluctus Channel. Almost all young people dream of flying at some point. In the U.S. Air Force, the pinnacle of flying fighter aircraft includes the F-22 and F-35. However, getting to the point where an individual can fly these aircraft comes with a lot of pain, sweat, and tears.
You're going to have your altimeter up here.
Before a training flight, the cadets receive a pilot briefing from the instructor.
But if you don't have this habit pattern now, then it'll probably be very hard to get it later. And the G-suit actually does just over 1 G.
U.S. Air Force pilot briefings are thorough pre-flight safety and mission briefs.
Rear seat's going to pull on the first bailout, and I'm going to pull after I hear the pop go.
Instructors review important instrument operations, including altimeter settings, and stress the need for G-force tolerance practices, AGSM anti-G straining maneuver. They examine G-suit operation as a protection and awareness tool, noting that it adds approximately 1 G of protection at normal operational speeds. Safety precautions are given great attention, particularly ejection seat protocols. Pilots must be familiar with certain aircraft configurations, such as ISS solo, individual ejection versus ISS both, tandem ejection, and memorize emergency sequence procedures. These briefings promote consistency and reinforce important safety practices.
It's like huge, painful. Oh man.
One of the most sought-after roles in the U.S. Air Force is becoming an F-35 Lightning II pilot. Becoming an F-35 pilot requires years of hard training and unflinching dedication. After 4 years at the Air Force Academy, candidates undergo a year-long pilot training program. Those chosen for fighter aircraft then attend Introduction to Fighter Fundamentals in San Antonio, a 2-month course that teaches combat basics. The Critical B course lasts 7 to 9 months and allows pilots to learn about their unique fighter aircraft. Pilots do not join their first operational squadron unless they successfully complete all phases. This demanding path necessitates ongoing focus, with each training phase bringing new difficulties and evaluation obstacles.
So the process to become a fighter pilot is pretty long. You go through the academy, which is 4 years, and then you go to pilot training, which is just over a year. And then if you're lucky enough to be selected to go to a fighter, you go to what's called Introduction to Fighter Fundamentals, which is a 2-month course in San Antonio. As then you go to a B course, which is anywhere from about 7 to 9 months long. And then at that point, you go to your first operational squadron.
Morning. It is. Lots of thrust.
Taking off in an F-35 is a thrilling experience. Strapped into the world's most advanced fighter, the F-35 pilot goes through last pre-takeoff checks. After clearing the tower, they power up the massive F-135 engine to full military power. The Lightning II rushes down Luke Air Force Base's runway, its unique engine noise reverberating across the desert. At rotation speed, the pilot slowly pulls back, and the F-35 glides gracefully into the Arizona sky. As the aircraft accelerates, its innovative flight control system automatically optimizes performance by raising the gear and flaps. Each takeoff boosts the pilot's confidence in operating this complicated fifth-generation aircraft.
Personally, I'm incredibly humbled to have done what I did today and go take off in an F-35. I hope that I can just continue to work hard, learn, and be the pilot that I'm expected to be in this airplane.
Few maneuvers are as impressive as an unrestricted takeoff. With a spectacular 1.28 to 1 thrust-to-weight ratio, the F-22 Raptor climbs almost vertically soon after takeoff. Twin Pratt & Whitney F-119 engines deliver 70,000 pounds of thrust, allowing the fighter to reach 50,000 feet in under 90 seconds. This extraordinary energy management capability, paired with thrust vectoring nozzles, provides Raptor pilots with unparalleled vertical mobility. One of the outstanding features of the F-22 is super maneuverability. The F-22's thrust vectoring nozzles enable extraordinary post-stall maneuvers, like the Herps maneuver. And Pugachev's Cobra. While its supercruise ability maintains supersonic flight without afterburners. At extreme angles of attack, digital flight controls and powerful engines allow precise handling through tight turns and aggressive vertical maneuvers. Dogfighting requires constant training. F-15C pilots deploy against aggressor squadron bandits, keeping radar locked while controlling energy levels. Even at 7 Gs, the Eagle responds perfectly with high aspect twists. Basic fighter maneuver instruction teaches pilots to maximize every advantage, including vertical, horizontal, and corner velocity. They practice defensive and attacking sets daily, honing radar sorting and merging techniques until their reactions become intuitive. Strafing is also required training. F-35B pilots from the U.S. Marine Corps VM-FAT 501 execute precision low-level strafing runs with the externally mounted 25mm gun pod. Approaching at 300 feet, pilots quickly identify targets using the helmet-mounted display system, HMDS, roll in, and make precise gun passes. Multiple runs sharpen vital close air support skills while adhering to rigorous safety guidelines in a controlled training environment. Aerial refueling is a regular operation practiced by U.S. Air Force pilots. The F-35 approaches the tanker's centerline at 315 knots, guided by the boom operator of the KC-135. The pilot maintains a tight formation while the stealth fighter's receptacle door opens. After contact, the Lightning II transfers up to 6,000 pounds of fuel in minutes before disconnecting and returning to its mission. Performing super maneuverability comes with a price to pay. The F-22's extraordinary maneuverability, capable of sustained 9G turns, necessitates specialist G-suit protection. The Combat Edge system consists of a pressure-breathing vest and a lower body G-suit that inflates around the legs and abdomen, preventing blood pooling in the lower extremities during high G maneuvers. Despite these safeguards, the F-22 initially experienced greater G-induced loss of consciousness, G-LOC rates, than other fighters. Necessitating improved pilot training standards and G-suit improvements to effectively handle the Raptor's extraordinary performance envelope. To prepare pilots for high G maneuvers, a centrifuge is used. Pilots practice the anti-G straining maneuver in the centrifuge, where they are subjected to carefully controlled G-forces of up to 9 Gs. They learn to tighten their leg and abdominal muscles while executing controlled breathing. Which consists of 3-second exhales through clenched teeth and quick inhales. Training scenarios become increasingly difficult, integrating high G exposure with combat task management. Instructors use cameras and sensors to monitor pilots' physiological responses and skills, ensuring students acquire suitable habits before exposing them to actual high G flight settings. Another threat to pilots and air crews is hypoxia. Pilots in the altitude chamber undergo oxygen deprivation in a controlled setting, generally at simulated altitudes of more than 25,000 feet. They take off their oxygen masks to assess their hypoxia symptoms, which may include tunnel vision, euphoria, or impaired judgment. Instructors closely monitor each pilot's blood oxygen levels and behavior while they perform basic duties. This crucial training enables pilots to detect hypoxia starting on actual flights, allowing them to take corrective action before incapacitation occurs.
So our altitude chamber, what it does is it allows us to take air crew members up to a simulated altitude unpressurized, and it allows us to basically put them in an environment that's kind of the worst case scenario. We have them take off their oxygen equipment so that they can feel physiologically how it feels differently to be off of oxygen and know their individualized symptoms. So then if they were ever in an aircraft and they lost cabin pressurization or were in a situation where they didn't have oxygen, they would know how to recognize that individually in themselves.
SEER, Survival, Evasion, Resistance, and Escape Specialists, conduct extensive water survival training to prepare pilots for potential water landings. Air crews go through realistic conditions, including being dragged by jet skis to simulate parachute drag in choppy waters. They practice escape from soggy parachutes and swimming in frigid water while fully clothed.
Didn't bring a spare pair of shoes, so we're out. I'll be all right.
The training addresses the 5 essential survival needs: health, personal protection, nourishment, signaling, and recovery. Pilots go through difficult water training in the Columbia River that simulates ocean conditions. They learn crucial post-ejection techniques. Officers in the U.S. Air Force or Space Force need to be high quality. Officer Training School, OTS, is a rigorous 9-week curriculum that develops civilians and enlisted soldiers into Air Force leaders.
Day one, we started something. And every day since, we've been building on that stronger and stronger and stronger. You with me? Yeah! Are you with me? Yeah!
Candidates undergo daily mental, physical, and leadership challenges while honing their command skills. Training focuses on developing confidence, decision-making skills, and strong leadership foundations. Students from many backgrounds come together for one purpose: to serve as future Air Force officers.
So we want to challenge you mentally, we want to challenge you with your leadership skills.
Push forward this way.
But we're also going to challenge you physically.
But first, the Air Force needs to know if candidates have the aptitude for flying. At partner flight schools, initial flight screening teaches aspiring Air Force pilots the fundamentals of aviation. Students receive ground training and about 25 hours of flight instruction in small aircraft, including solo flights. Before moving on to specialized undergraduate pilot training, this demanding curriculum assesses candidates' basic flying competence, airmanship skills, and stress tolerance.
Our primary mission here as the gateway to Air Force aviation is to ensure that all of our graduates, either pilot or CISO, have the attitude, aptitude, motivation to succeed and follow on training.
Pilots must eventually transition to supersonic training. During fighter and bomber training, student pilots in T-38 Talons learn supersonic flight, advanced formation tactics, and aerobatics. They also rehearse intercepts, low-level navigation, and instrument procedures while flying at Mach 1.3 speeds. The rigorous curriculum includes 2-ship formations, tactical maneuvering, and night operations to train pilots for modern warplanes. U.S. Air Force pilot training uses modern systems like virtual reality, VR simulators to improve learning. Students use high-fidelity headphones and realistic controls to practice emergency procedures, instrument navigation, and difficult maneuvers before actual flights. Virtual reality equipment at places like the Armed Forces Reserve Center allows pilots to simulate numerous scenarios and weather conditions, while instructors observe and assess their performance in real time. Another innovative approach is to train with high-fidelity simulators with exact cockpit reproductions and panoramic visual displays. Pilots simulate complex combat scenarios, weapon deployment, and emergency procedures without risk. The system simulates accurate flying characteristics, radar operations, and weapon effects, while instructors present tough tactical scenarios and system malfunctions to help pilots improve their decision-making abilities. U.S. Air Force pilots are a special breed, going through some of the best training available in the world. After years of studying theory and becoming disciplined officers, they must show they can do the job. And that takes a lot of time, skill, and natural aptitude. That's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our new content. See you next time.